Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we have Sydney Damaris, Mark Warren, Luke Bruckner, Cody Bunch, Grant Taylor, and Scotty Moffitt. And the goal for today's meeting is to examine and resolve the conflict between two members of the management team over at Foster's Retailers, Laura Atkinson, a marketing and administrative manager, and Doug James, a sales manager. We will conduct this meeting following our agenda to hopefully generate and find an effective solution.
So I'm here to go over the agenda. First, we will identify the problems that we think y'all are facing and decide which one is most importantly that we need to focus on. Next, we will analyze the problem, and then we will generate and discuss criteria. Next, we will brainstorm possible solutions. Then we will evaluate and determine the best solution for your company to solve your problem.
So what are some main problems you guys have noticed in this case?
I think one of the main problems is that Doug knows that the paperwork is required, but refuses to give Laura the paperwork, so she is unable to do her job effectively.
Definitely a refusal to cooperate with the other members of the different management teams. And that creates a lot of problems between everybody involved.
I think like their conflict is the most important problem, but like also the fact that it's not just affecting them, like it's affecting everyone else in the company. Like Doug's people aren't even communicating with Laura because he's telling her not to, even though she's trying to get information out of them, but he looks at it as like her trying to boss them around.
Yeah, they don't like respectively like communicate with each other. Like how you should in a workplace, and like that's key in a workplace is communication, and they don't have that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I also think one of the other problems is that Charles, the manager, doesn't really get involved. He kind of, I mean, that's been going on for a while, and he hasn't really come up with a solution yet.
Right, I think those are all great points. I think it's a very important thing to have in a workplace because it affects all that work. So let's analyze it. Who has any ideas of criteria that we should meet?
So I think that people need to feel more comfortable and be able to explain both of their sides, which that's what they were trying to do with that meeting, but maybe we can like go more into depth. And then like everybody needs to follow company policies. Like I feel like that's like a main point, and Doug doesn't do so. And even the manager says that he doesn't. And I just feel like that's kind of important.
Yeah, you need to have like increased communication and like no fighting around like the other people that work there, because it just creates conflict between everyone else. And like make sure they follow like their rules in the company, like what they're supposed to do, and don't try to like do someone else's job.
I also feel like we shouldn't have to spend a whole lot of money on these people that are having this conflict, because you would think that they could just hash it out and talk it out. And also, how long are we going to let them have this problem and it affect the company? So like, I feel like we need to figure this out, and they need to figure it out in a timely manner before we end up having to let one of them go, even though they are both great assets to the company.
I agree. I think this is like a personal conflict that's spilled over into the workplace. So definitely trying to fix that so they can just resume working. And also another criteria would definitely be staying in line with the company's policies, because even Charles said that Doug doesn't really follow the rules.
And then I also think that like making sure that they don't involve other people like in their drama would be important as well, with how Doug would involve the people under him and have them not give stuff to Laura.
Yeah, so that's a lot of criteria that we do need to meet in order to positively affect the workplace and to benefit to both parties in this situation. So what do you guys think effective solutions are given all that criteria that we have to meet?
I think that one of the solutions could be that you almost force Doug to turn in his paperwork on time. That will make Laura not have to bother him near as much. And then if he continues to not turn in his paperwork, there should be consequences. But ultimately, if he turns his stuff in time, Laura will not need to be in his office talking to him near as much, and that solves the problem of him being annoyed with Laura.
So I kind of have a question, just like something that we need to think about. So Laura had said that he invited her to go to the movies, and whether this is like a reason for the problem and how we would be able to fix that problem between them. So if y'all just have any ideas on that, or if y'all think that's a key problem that we need to like.
I think that's probably one of the things that this whole situation stems from, is their personal relationship, which doesn't sound too good in the
Mhm.
first place. So I think a possible solution, honestly, would just be for a way for Laura to be able to do her job in regards to bookkeeping without really being involved with Doug, since Doug doesn't seem to be too friendly to her or anybody in her department.
Mhm.
Kind of what Grant said about just forcing him to turn in stuff without needing to be involved.
Do y'all think we need to mention this to them? Like, this is why Laura thinks that you're holding a grudge. Like, I mean, like sit them down with the mediator, which we tried to get them to do, and then the mediator got confused. But do y'all think that would be?
Yeah, maybe we should like
Smart.
say how they need to like keep that out of the workplace, like that, like you shouldn't bring like that, what happened, like how that went down into work, and like make that y'all not work well together because of that issue.
Right.
Like they need to leave it outside.
I guess another solution for them could be like, so they both talk separately. Well, maybe like they need to talk together, like in the same room with each other, so they can both hear each other's opinions and they aren't just blaming the other one, and they can actually hear each other out.
Yeah, and then have someone maybe like go over like their specific roles in the company, so they know like what they're supposed to be doing and like what they need to report to the other, instead of like them like just like leaving notes and trying to get them to like do stuff, because it's like not obviously working.
What do y'all think the consequences would be, like if this furthers, or do y'all think Doug needs any consequences for him not following the company's policies?
I don't think so immediately, because Charles has kind of condoned it for a while. And so it'd kind of be kind of weird for him to condone Doug not following the rules, then all of a sudden out of nowhere, not without warning, have a consequence. So I think you implement the rules for him to follow directions, and then if he doesn't, then consequences, but not immediately.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we shouldn't discipline them off the bat, kind of what Grant said. It is important to sit them both down. Like you said, I think that's a great idea. Um, just because I think it's important that we need to make it clear to them that there are issues in the workplace and we need to focus on bettering them for the environment and just overall productivity of the work.
Especially because it is affecting the other people also and not just them. Do y'all think we should have somebody come in and do trust building things with them, or communication exercises, something like that? Like, do y'all think it's to this extent to where like they might need something like that?
Well, it does say that Laura's like scared of like what Doug would do to like make her like
Mhm.
leave. So
Yeah.
maybe it would be like a good idea to have like someone come in and help them work on like their communication and like their teamwork.
And like, I know like they both might not want to do this, but like say like, look, y'all are either going to do this, or if you deny to do this, like if you don't agree to, maybe, they're not going to give it their all in our company if they're not willing to fix this problem, or at least try to put in the effort, something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Charles said that they both act like 2-year-olds around each other. So I feel like kind of giving them that ultimatum of either nipping it in the bud or ending with one of them or both of them leaving is kind of how it would end.
Right.
But I guess.
Yeah, I really do think that would benefit. I also think that we should reduce face-to-face contact with them in the workplace. I think that we should really focus on their specific jobs and have them focus on that, rather than having so much interaction with each other, which is eventually leading to all the problems that they have brought up with each other. So those are a lot of great solutions. I think we all agree for the most part that we do need to eliminate that communication, possibly get a mediator to get help, and then just sitting them both down and talking and just addressing the problem at hand. So, what do you think the best solution we have is moving forward? What do you think will best benefit not only them, but the workspace, the people around it, and the overall productivity of the work as well?
Yeah, I think like you said, obviously have a mediator and have them sit down and talk to each other. But that like in the short term, do that. But in the long run, I think we need to establish like there'll be consequences if you don't follow the rules, establish an effective and efficient like communication between them where they don't have to talk near as much, don't have to be interacted, but mainly that they need to follow the rules, and this is how it's going to go, and there will be consequences if we do not.
I think having a mediator come in and letting them sit down in the same room and hash it out, I think that'll be pretty cost efficient. So I think that will meet our criteria, and the communication between our employees, like that will help the communication. And I think it might not be comfortable actually like doing it, but I think in the long run, they will be more comfortable working with each other, even if they're not face to face. They'll just feel more comfortable that their side was heard, to the other person, and that they got to speak on it. So I think that one is one that really fits with our criteria and would do very well.
Yeah, I agree. I think mediation definitely would help the most. And in the event that it doesn't help, we could still lay out ground rules for the two of them to where they could still work and do their jobs without having to be involved with each other.
Luke, as to not overstep anyone's plans after this meeting, do you think it's time that we should conclude?
Yes, so today we wanted to come together to try and figure out the problems between Laura and Doug. And so we need to decide we decided that getting a mediator for them too, so both their sides are heard, would be the best solution. Do y'all agree?
Yes.
Yes.
You want to add anything else to that? Also, maybe getting like the mediator can help them, since they don't have to see each other face to face, and then it will increase their communication because they don't have to talk to each other face to face. And then yeah, if y'all have anything else to add.
I like the direction we're going. I think it's really effective. I agree with you 100%, and I think it'll work.
All right, let's get their problem solved. Thank
Alright,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. We're at 13 minutes and